All right. Just clicking the go live on these other ones. I have to click it on, but we're gonna go ahead and get started here in just a moment. And I believe we're gonna have to refresh this screen here. Excuse me. All right. So divine rising to you, everyone. We're going to pick this up here in just a moment. So if you are tuning in with me right now, let me know where you are tuning in from. And if you will be watching this on a replay, let me know. Let me know. And let me make sure I need to turn my volume back up from yesterday. So let me see if I can see myself. You will be watching this on a replay. Let me know. And also let me do this here. Sure, I pause this here. And that. So I don't have no echo. I shouldn't have an echo. Let me see. Pause this. Let's make sure I don't have an echo. And that. So I don't have no echo. Oh, no echo. All right. Pause this. Let's make sure I don't have an echo. And that. So I don't have no echo. Oh, no echo. All right. Pause this. Make sure I don't have an echo. All right. Well, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna mute that out. Anyway, so just to be sure, because I want this to be clear. Anyway, so let me go ahead and do what I normally do. Let me go ahead and get this shared out. If you're tuning in, let me know where you're tuning in from. If you like to, excuse me, join me on the live. As always, you can click the live with me, and you can go live with me. Just click it. Again, it will only show on the 2 Facebook pages. I did not put it on Instagram or YouTube, the Instagram or the YouTubes. So it's just going to only be on the Facebook page. If you like to go live, it is meetin.com/Quiet Queens Builder Lab. And you can click there and you can join me there. Okay, I knew that was going to do that because it does it all the time. All right, let's see. I was hoping that my people that's in the house would be gone before I got on live because they get loud. They get very, very loud. And you hear it all in the background. You can hear them over me. But anyway. And where is the story? Here we go. All right. I believe I am ready. And if you are tuning in and you have not seen me or have come across your timeline, and you didn't know who I was, and you decide to stop on today, I am Shakita. I am out of the state of Texas. I am originally from Oklahoma, so that's just a little bit about me right there. Other than I am the founder and founding architect of Quiet Queens Academy. And if y'all have to say y'all, I'm pretty, proud about that. So, but like I said, if you are tuning in with me right now, let me know where you're tuning in from. Don't be shy. Put it in the chat. The comments, not the chat. I'm thinking like I'm on Zoom or something, but put it in the comments. And let me know where you tuning in from. But we're going to go ahead and get this kicked off right now. If you was able to catch the title of this, Morning Live, it is your priorities need structure, not just intention. And of course, our theme for this week is intentional energy. So on Monday, we've noticed what receives our energy. Tuesday, we decided what deserves priority. And Wednesday, we talked about communicating those priorities without requiring anyone or everyone else's permission. Today, we move into the application. So we got to do something, right? We can't just, have all the things and not actually do anything, put any implementation to them, right? So, because deciding what matters now doesn't automatically mean your day will reflect that decision. A priority that exists only in your mind can repeatedly, excuse me, lose to whatever appears next. And so, this morning on Quiet Queens Morning Live, we're talking about creating simple structure around what matters so your attention doesn't have to be renegotiated every time something new arrives. So no rigid schedule, no pressure, no trying to control everything every minute or everything. Structure that helps your actual movement agree with what you already decided matters. And in Quiet Queens Academy, I don't I do not build through pressure. I build through structure. That is why it holds. And so we're gonna go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this live. But before we get into that, again, Divine Rising, Quiet Queens, we've spent this week becoming more intentional with our energy. Monday, again, we noticed what actually receives us. Tuesday, we decided what deserves priority. Yesterday, we talked about communicating what those priorities require. But today, I want you to ask another question. What protects a priority after you've chosen it? Because I can wake up knowing exactly what matters today, and then the phone rings, right? And a message comes through, and I remember something else. And another idea comes someday, or somebody needs something. And before I know it, the thing I said was my priority has received whatever energy I had left. And so maybe clarity isn't the only thing we need. Maybe we've decided what matters. Excuse me. Maybe we decided, maybe what we, I can't get my words good. Maybe what we've decided matters also needs something structure around it. And so basically, structure says it holds things together. It's actually the foundation of what we are intentionally doing, right? And so here's a reflection for you from me. I've learned that I don't want to have to remake the same decision all day. If I already decided something deserves my focus, attention, I can create structure that supports that decision, because otherwise, every new thing that appears gets an opportunity to compete with what I've already chosen. Excuse me. And for me, structure isn't about controlling every minute, it's actually the opposite. Structure reduces how many decisions I have to keep making. And I already know what matters. Now, I need to give what matters somewhere to live. So let's talk about it, okay? So we're gonna get into these core conversations. And again, if you are tuning in with me and you'd like to join me, click the comment, click the link in the comments that says live with me. And I'll go ahead and bring you on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into the core of the conversation. The first thing is sometimes our calendar tells a different story than our priorities, right? And so we can say, my business is a priority, my health is a priority, my family is a priority, this project is a priority. But then look at where the time actually goes. Not because we don't care, not because we're incapable of focusing. Sometimes the things we call a priority simply has no protected place to happen. And so, meanwhile, everything arriving from the outside already has a mechanism for getting our attention. And notifications notify, right? People ask, messages appear, request arrives. Your priority may be important, but importance doesn't automatically create structure. right? And so, number two, repeating, deciding whether to focus uses energy too. Let me say that again because I think I was a little tongue tied when I said it. Repeatedly deciding, I'd say it, repeatedly deciding whether to focus uses energy too. So think about this. If every morning you have to decide whether you're going to work on something, then decide when. Then decide for how long. Then decide whether this new request should replace it. You're using energy simply negotiating with yourself. Structure can remove some of those decisions. Instead of when will I get this? When will I get to this? It becomes this is where this belongs. That's a very different relationship with priority. So structure is not restriction. Structure can protect choices or protect a choice. Sometimes structure sounds rigid, right? But healthy structures doesn't have to remove flexibility. It can protect what you already consciously choose. Putting something on your calendar doesn't mean nothing can ever change because we're creator of change anyway. So it means something else doesn't automatically replace it simply because it arrived later. Creating a standard response doesn't mean you stop thinking. It means you don't have to invent your request or your response every time. It means you're intentionally deciding that what that time is for. And so the Quiet Queen's operating system teaches us that systems create freedom because structure reduces confusion, stabilizes movement, and supports sustainable action, right? And so that's why the operating system is in place, right? So number four, protecting a priority doesn't mean protecting it from everything, right? This is important. Life happens, responsibility changes, information changes, genuinely some things genuinely more important that may arise. Structure isn't. Nothing can interrupt this. Structure is. Not everything automatically gets to interrupt this. Because at that point, when I think about structure, structure is where you be able to control the narrative of that day or that priority. You control it, right? And so intentional energy still requires discernment. So the structure simply gives you your original decision enough support that every new arrival doesn't automatically outrank it. All right. So let's get into the fifth thing. Give the priority somewhere to live. Give the priority somewhere to live. Take the priority you identified this week and ask, where does this live? Maybe it needs a calendar block, a specific morning, a standard response, a communication window, a focused work period, a limit, a routine, a physical space, a decision made in advance. Don't build a complicated system around one priority. Create one piece of structure that makes the aligned action easier to repeat. That's sustainable action. And when we have easy things that we repeat, it will compound over time. So, consistency, repeatedly, over and over, it compounds over time. So, meaning that when you have that thing in place, you're going to automatically do it. It's going to compound. It becomes a part of your life, your reality, right? Because that's what you believe, right? All right. I talked about that yesterday as well. So, now, here is some engagement, reflective engagement. If you choose to engage, is not required. But this is think about this, or think about the priority you identified this week. Right now, ask, where does this priority actually live in my life? Can you point to something in your schedule, routine, environment, or behavior that protects it? Or are you expecting yourself to remember that it matters every time something else asks for your attention? And again, no judgment. We're in a no judgment zone, right? So we're looking for information, right? We're looking for information. And I'm sorry if y'all are tuning in with me. I didn't see you there. But if you are, just let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you have anything that you like to interject, just let me know, right? But I'm about to come to a close, all right? But here's a practical takeaway for you. And if you missed the live, this will be on the replay and you can go through it and watch it. And if you want to engage with the conversation, you're more than welcome to. So here's the practical takeaway. And I like to call this the priority protection check. So choose one priority and answer, right? So the first thing, where does it live? Give it a specific place, time, routine, or a process. The second thing, what usually competes with it? So identify the recurring interruption instead of treating every interruption as unexpected. That's interesting, right? So number 3, what decision can I make in advance? Create one simple rule, response, or structure. And number 4, what genuinely deserves permission to override it? So leave room for discernment. And then install one structure today. Not an entire new productivity system, but one support for something you've already decided matters. So if it matters to you, create some structure around it, um, and and follow these particular this particular priority protection checklist, right? Okay, and so in closing, Quiet Queens Monday, we've noticed our energy, right? And today we gave it direction. I mean, Tuesday we gave it direction. I said today. Tuesday we gave it direction. Wednesday we communicated what that direction required. And today we're giving our priorities somewhere to live because intention matters, but I don't want what matters most to me constantly dependent on whether I remember to protect it. I want enough structure around it that my movement has somewhere to return. And that doesn't mean life cannot change. It doesn't mean I become rigid. It means every new thing that appears doesn't automatically become more important than what I consciously chose before it arrived. So your priorities don't only need good intentions. Sometimes they need a calendar, a routine, a standard, a decision made before the movement, before the moment, something simple that says, this is where this belongs. I do not build through pressure. I build through structure. That is why it holds. And so that concludes, my friends, Quiet Queens, this morning live. And I want to thank you for those who tapped in with me and those who stayed with me through the whole process. But again, I appreciate you all for tuning in. And I will be back on tomorrow for another, I guess we'll say, episode of Intentional Energy. And so, y'all, I want to say thank you for having a divine day. And I will talk to you soon.